Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. We have a bunch of stuff to get through to today. Yeah, I'm changing the format a little bit because I still look awful and I actually still feel not that great. So best you don't see me when I'm looking my worst, right? But I still wanted to make the effort to get a video out today because it's been a while and I do actually feel a lot better today. Not great, but definitely well enough to get back in the saddle and do something productive. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. And if you do enjoy this content, do consider leaving a like, subscribe, hitting that bell to stay up to date with all content I release. Hopefully you'll enjoy the video. Let's get into it. So the first piece of news that we have is actually a really big one. We have this one over here, as you can see on screen right now. It says, sensationally, ARM has killed Qualcomm's license to build chips like those powering Microsoft's Copilot Plus AI PCs. Now this isn't just a thing at Microsoft. As you can see here, it has huge ramifications for smartphones, given that many Android devices rely on Qualcomm's chip, including a lot of Samsung devices, a lot of Pixel devices, a lot of Android devices, mobile phones rely on these Qualcomm chips, and if they don't have the license to use ARM, then they instantly pretty much are killing a huge sector. Now, we saw how the FTC and the CMA and Lena Khan immediately jumped on Microsoft because they were having their monopolistic ways, right? Well, let's see how they react to this, because in my opinion, this is way bigger than the actual Microsoft and ABK merger. This is huge. This will, if allowed to continue, will be one of the biggest monopolistic actions that could be taken, and will kind of shape how the next 5-10 years go. A lot of devices will just disappear. A lot of, it's just a thing. Certain manufacturers will have to kind of either pivot to another chipset or design their own. And considering these are really expensive, this was the whole thing where I said, when Microsoft is going all into Unreal Engine 5 and a lot of other companies are doing the same, if Epic decide to change one aspect of that and say, right, we're quadrupling the price of the license and you now have to pay for it because you don't have another outlet, Microsoft will have to pay for it or they're kind of screwed. So this is why you don't kind of put all your eggs into one basket, because when these corporations decide to do slimy things like these, as Phil Spencer would love to say, well, it does cause a big problem. And right now, I'm very interested to see exactly where this is going and how it's going to develop. And I'm genuinely interested to see what the regulators are going to say about it, because it wasn't that long ago that, I think it was the FTC and, the global regulators that stopped NVIDIA and ARM actually merging together because of the monopolistic, power NVIDIA would have under them. So doing something like this shouldn't actually be allowed, and the regulators should step in, and just like they did with the cloud rights for Microsoft, which is way minor, they should be making a big stink about this, because this is actually big and will have huge impacts on consumers. On to some better Xbox news, and it seems that things are starting to kick into shape, kick into gear, and as you can see here from this trailer, when every second counts, every frame matters. Play Black Ops 6 in 4K 60 FPS with the Xbox Series X. So they are making a commitment that on the Xbox Series X, not the S, but the X, you will get to play at 4K 60. Now, a lot of people are calling this bogus and just rubbish information. It's definitely not going to be at 4K or 60 FPS at the same time. Microsoft is making that commitment and is saying that this game on the Series X will be 4K 60. That's exactly the type of information you want. And I have to say that with the marketing that Microsoft has been doing with Call of Duty, whichever department this is, make them do every single Xbox game that gets released, because they are doing an amazing job. Even people that don't know are now knowing. And honestly, seriously, the advertising campaign that I've seen done by Microsoft for this game is out of this world. It's the best they've done in years, and it's a refreshing change. So it seems those slimy corporate things still continue, as Sony offered Pearl Abyss a time-exclusive deal for Crimson Desert, which would exclude an Xbox release for a period of time, but Pearl Abyss refused the offer. Now, this was taken from an investor's call, but using Google Translate, it said, "We were also offered an exclusive contract with conditions such as a ban on Xbox release for a certain period of time from Sony, but we decided to proceed with self-publishing as we judged that self-publishing would yield higher expected profits." Now, we've seen this sort of thing happening with, Square Enix, where the exclusivity deal with Sony just hasn't panned out, and now they're going elsewhere. We've seen it with Atlas, especially with like Persona 3, where they've decided to go all in on multi-plat for the first time, and it sold wonders. Persona 4 did multi-plat, it did wonders. Sorry, Persona 5 went multi-plat, that did wonders. And they've already confirmed that Persona 6 is going to be multi-plat. So, with all that said and done, it looks like companies are not accepting Sony's paycheck or their attempt for exclusivity as much as they used to, and the Sony name, at the very least, isn't holding that weight that it used to, because quite frankly, their consumers just don't buy enough games. They're too busy spending all their money on a console. But it is what it is, right? That's the name and aim of the game. But it's sad that Sony is still trying to do these things, despite the fact Microsoft is now playing a lot more, it's even putting games on their platform, and they are still, despite that, trying to just eradicate them. And it is within Sony's right to do that. Third-party contracts are open season, free game, but it's still scummy in my opinion. And I'm happy that Pearl Abyss did say no, because now they've earned my money. And as soon as the game goes on sale, I will be putting my pre-order down. Whether I like the game or not is irrelevant. I will give them my money for support because they said no to Sony. Now, something that I saw recently, now I thought I'd put this out there because, I did say this was going to start, and this is why Microsoft kind of needs to set a kind of, they need to come out and say, this is the criteria. And having it case by case just doesn't work. Because now you've got people like Mag, who, is constantly on, he's a regular at the XNC, Colt Eastwood's podcast. He's now claiming, as of today, Fable, Gears E-Day, Perfect Dark, Avowed, Blade, Halo, all of them are going to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro, and E-Day may well be a day-and-date game on PS5 Pro. Now, I don't believe Fable's going, I don't believe Gears is going, I don't believe Perfect Dark is going, Avowed is going, Blade I can see going, Halo I can't see going. I don't see any of these outside of Blade because that's a Marvel game and the contract on that must be horrendous, and you need sales in order to counteract that, and well, I just don't feel like Xbox, will make enough sales to deal with the penalties that come with the contract they made. But, all things being considered, this is going to kick off like wildfire, and this is why I say Microsoft needs to set a criteria. They won't, but they really do. And the rumours for these is only just going to get worse. Black Myth Wukong was rated for the Xbox Series consoles, spotted on the ERSB rating site. It is finally being rated, so it is getting close to a release. The question is, will you be buying it? Will you pick it up? Personally, I've already picked it up on the PC for my kids, so I'm not buying it. You snooze, you lose. And that's really the end of that for me. But let me know in the comment section below if you'll be picking it up, because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people wanted to play this and the hype for it kind of has gone. It did sell over 20 million copies, but for those of you that didn't have a PS5 or a PC that have been wanting it, your time is coming. Rayman is getting a remake. Dreams do come true after all. Now I just need to know if it's Rayman 1, 2 or 3, says Jaywood. Are you excited for Rayman? Rayman has been one of those kind of family beloved games that people have loved to play, and it's always been one of those great platformers and one of Ubisoft's kind of like hidden gems. So it's nice to see that Rayman is finally getting that remake treatment. And before anyone says we don't like remakes or reboots, when it's so old as the Rayman series is, it's fine. If they were remaking the game from 2 weeks ago, then we'd have a problem. I keep saying this and I stick by it. Remaking a game from yesteryear is fine. Monster Hunter! Get ready, the Monster Hunter Wilds open beta test comes to PlayStation 5, Series X and Steam on October the 31st. November 1, 3 AM GMT, with early access for PlayStation Plus users. So PlayStation Plus will get it on October the 28th, and then everyone else with crossplay on will get it on October the 31st. This is an open beta, so you'll have character creation and launch import, story trial, Doshaguma hunt, and crossplay. So we can definitely hopefully check this out on the weekend, which is going until Sunday. So maybe Saturday we can jump into this and give it a whirl. But those are the details for everyone. Open beta test bonus, you get a pendant, stuffed feline teddy as well. But yes, PlayStation owners get to play it early. They paid for that exclusivity. So there is that. So it seems after selling 1 million copies of Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, it apparently wasn't enough to save the studio, and it has been disbanded. Now, with the bad reputation that Ubisoft has and the constant mishaps that they've placed upon themselves and the reputation that they've garnered, this should have been expected. A sequel was proposed, but it wasn't green-lit. I feel sorry for the team because the game is actually genuinely good, but it seems that the reputation of Ubisoft has really hurt this game. 1 million sales is not nothing to scoff at and is actually a good amount of sales for a game of this caliber, but it could have been more had they released it day one on Steam, maybe 1.2 million or 1.1 million or whatever it was. But at the end of the day, the reality is, if you consistently piss off your audience and release games that are bloat and shovelware, eventually people will stop taking interest in your game. And the execs have acknowledged this. Despite acknowledging it, they still didn't care and they have disbanded the whole team. And I think that's a shame, because this is one of their best games released this year. Netflix decided that they wouldn't to be as cool as Stadia. Netflix has shut down its AAA gaming studio in California in less than 2 years. They hired big names like Joseph Staten, Raphael Grassetti, and more. And it looks like Joseph Staten may be on his way back to Halo. At least that's what people are saying. But it just goes to show that jumping into and trying to battle with the big boys isn't as easy as it seems. And despite Stadia being on the right path, they decided to throw in the towel. And Netflix is finding out now just how expensive video gaming can actually be. And they've just said goodbye to their own AAA gaming studio, which is a shame. Now this next one is that one last thing, because apparently according to Special Nick, Scalebound has started development again. I assume Platinum Games is working on it. It's something that they wanted to revisit and do right the second time. They've been in discussions with Phil for a while, and it looks like they finally got their wish. And Scalebound is now back in development. At least that's what the rumor is saying. That is what the leak is saying. Take that as you will. And with that, that's all I got, folks. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. What actually excited you? Lots of news to get through. I'm hopefully going to be streaming tomorrow. Hopefully my voice can hold out. I'm really struggling at the moment just to speak a long sentence. But hopefully the video was enjoyable to you. And if it was, do consider leaving a like, subscribe, hit that bell to stay up to date with all content I release. I will hopefully see you on the flip side tomorrow, normal time. We will definitely be streaming some COD, hopefully on Friday as well. But that said, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that bell to stay up to date with all content I release. Remain legend.